Hi, my name's Leigh Culver, and today we're going to talk about track casting. And we're going to demonstrate the technique for casting a track and some of the things that you actually want to do before you get to that point of casting. Because there's a lot that you need to do just before you cast. Okay, you can see we have a track down here. Keith was good enough to donate his foot, as he does quite often for us, to leave us a nice track in the mud. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to cast the track and some things that we need to do. Now you can see I've got a forensic ruler here laying next to the track, and it's a good idea before you even think about casting it that you take as many photographs as you can around the track from different angles, trying not to disturb any other sign in the environment. Now we know that this footprint is going in this direction and it's coming from this direction, and in reality I probably wouldn't be located where I am right now in this position to this track. I would actually be off to the side, but as you can see this environment's very muddy and I don't want to be knee deep in the mud here. So as you see I have a forensic ruler, so I'm going to photograph the track from different angles, and depending on where the sun is, I'm going to have the sun from the opposite side of where I am with the camera so I can get the most shadow and detail for tracking. And we're going to show you later on another technique for photographing as well. So we have our forensic ruler, so we've done the first part, we've done our photographing. The next phase is we need to measure the track from heel to toe, across the heel, across the ball of the foot, and take as many measurements as possible. And all the details that you're writing down, you want to write down in your field manual. And it's good to have a manual already prepared with different pens, permanent markers, pens. And this is an all-weather field book, so the paper's good even when it gets wet. So you're going to take all the measurements and record it in your field manual, including a GPS location, time of day, etc. So we've done that. So let's assume we've got all of everything we need to do. We have a forensic evidence bag here for maybe putting the track in later depending on the size of it. And of course there's a lot of information we're going to fill out when the time comes. We have some pill envelope evidence bags that are good for hair samples. So we're going to look around the environment and see if we can find any hair. And it's good when you're doing that to have a 5x magnifying lens so you can look around and look really in detail to see if there's any hair samples within the track itself. If you do find hair samples, you do not want to put them in a plastic baggie. Baggies hold moisture, which means you get microbial action, bacteria, and if you are trying to get some type of DNA sample, it's going to mess up. To get that hair sample, you want to use tweezers, and carry some tweezers or tongs with you, and you can put the hair samples in your envelopes and you're ready to go. So that aside, we're going to look at the track here, and these tweezers are actually good for if there's any little debris that's going to mess up your casting, you can kind of move it out of the way or something. But for the most part, you want to leave it alone. Yeah. But if there's something like a huge leaf that might be useful to move, then so be it. But you want to use tweezers with it. You want to be very careful not to disturb any of the evidence or detail. Now, if you're going to do some casting, you want to be prepared. And what we do, we have kits already prepared. This is designed for a Sasquatch footprint, which is way more than I need for Keith's footprint. And this is 3 pounds of dental stone. And this is a very fast-acting dental stone. I've got instructions that I've created here that stays with the kit, because we don't keep this in our heads all the time because you don't cast every day. So it's good to have a handy reference so you have everything ready to go. Now, if you are going to make a cast and it's a sandy environment, hairspray is your friend. So you would take some hairspray and very carefully spray over the track, and if there's some loose debris or if it's very sandy or powdery, the hairspray will hold the track together a little bit better so when you cast it. And just so you know, there are actually techniques for casting in snow as well, and maybe once winter happens we'll show you how to do that as well. It's good to have a pair of gloves ready, and this right here is just some copper trim here that I'm going to use to put around the track to hold the dental stone so it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up, and we'll return to this in a moment. Okay, you can see now I've taken some copper flashing and put it around the track here. And you want to be careful when you're doing this. Now, this copper flashing you can pick up at any hardware store. It comes in a roll and you can trim it to whatever width you want. And what you might want to do is draw out the largest track that you can imagine that you might find and see how much copper flashing you might need to put around a track like this. And you want to put at least about an inch, inch and a half barrier if possible around your track. And this is actually going to hold the plaster in, or the dental stone or hydrocal, whatever media you happen to be using. So as you can see, we've got this on here right now and it's ready to go. So I have a pre-mixed kit here, and I always double bag this stuff in case one bag gets a leak, and I'm good to go with my backup bag. And I have others in my pack usually as well. As I said, this is mixed for a larger track, and for the right amount of water here. So basically I've got this idiot proof, and we're going to see how idiot proof it is, I hope. So I'm going to go ahead and dump the water into my baggie here. And this is very fast acting dental stone. And the reason why that is when we first started doing our research, we imagined the possibility of encountering freshly made tracks, and we felt like you probably wouldn't have that much time to do what you got to do to get your cast. So we're going to go ahead and mix this up real good here, and I'm pouring the stone into the track here, and just kind of letting it fill in. Kind of a messy process. And we're going to go ahead and let this dry a little bit. Okay, we've waited a little bit of time here. We've waited about 15-20 minutes. And our dental stone is hard, so I'm going to remove the shielding and go ahead and see about getting the cast pulled up out of the mud here. And we have to be kind of careful here, and just want to carefully reach underneath. And so right now I've got a footprint here that's got mud and debris and dirt on it. So what I would do right now is leave it like it is, even though you can't see much with it right now. And I would go ahead and put it in my evidence bag, which I'm going to do right now. And I would go ahead and label the location, the date, the time, GPS coordinates. And this bag even has a chain of custody, so if you're going to transport the bag to another individual, they can sign it, and you keep track of who received it. So right now we have our track, and later on when it's cleaned up, maybe we'll go ahead and take a picture of it and add it to the video. You can see what the finished product looks like. So anyway, this is our Keith McLean footprint, and it's ready to go. Thank you for watching.